Hey, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok, and today I want to talk about a very familiar, popular, important subject known as the cost of living. Cost of living here in Thailand. I got to say that obviously over the years, the cost of living here has changed, and it's changed a fair amount. No doubt about it. It used to be a given that people could live here for, say, $500, $750 a month. And while that, depending on the circumstances, it really hasn't changed all that much, uh, Thailand is changing, and really, that's the bare minimum. That is bare bones minimum. I would say that right now, the bare minimum that you really need is if you're single, uh, you're going to need at least $1,000 a month, and there is no guarantee that you'll be able to stay here for an extended length of time. If you're single, you're going to need a tourist or education visa, which means you're going to be needing to go out of the country every so often. Which, listen, if you're coming here and you're like not sure if you're young, if you're not sure you're going to live here for the rest of your life, then I would say that's all you really need, because let's face it, after 2 or 3 years, you might have a change of heart, you might decide to go back, you might whatever, but you don't really need a visa that's going to allow you to stay for the rest of your life. And even if it's a 1-year extension of stay, a stay of extension, if you're living off of that little, then, and you're single, I would say that you enjoy your time here, and then if things come about and you can earn more money, well then great. It allows you to set yourself up for the future, because I hate to say this, because really money is not always my motivating factor, and sometimes that's to my detriment. I try sometimes to make it important, but for me really, like things like writing and my photography, while they earn me a fair amount, they don't earn me a huge amount considering the time and effort that I put in. And certainly the videos don't earn me very much. So I think if you're single, I wouldn't consider living here for the rest of your life, not at least not right away. Give yourself a couple of years. If you're still here after a couple of years, then who knows? Anything can happen. You might end up living here for the duration. If you're married to a Thai, or you get married to a Thai, then it is easier to stay in Thailand, and you have a few more resources, which basically you possibly have a second income. Now, when I first got married, I was a couple of years in. I had a couple different kinds of visas, and my wife was not working because we had our sons, and in the beginning, I said, listen, we have enough money to take care of the family. Don't work. Spend the time with the kids. And so she did that for about 6 or 7 years before getting into her career. And now she's got a full-blown career, which is fine with me, because our family needs the money. Listen, 2 incomes is better than 1. And, the kids, they're old enough to understand now. I understand. I have my own thing going on. We try to set it up to where when I take trips, for whatever reason, whether it's photography or to make videos or both, usually it's both, I know that she has time to spend with the kids, that she doesn't have something scheduled with her job. And another thing is that if you have a marriage visa, and that's an O visa, you can stay for a year. So you don't have to go in and out of the country like is the case with a tourist visa, or might be the case with an education visa. So that makes it a little bit easier. But then you've got 2 mouths to feed. You got 2 sets of clothes that you need. You need 2 of this, 2 of that. You both got to go to the dentist. You both have medical issues. So the cost goes up slightly. But if you have that second income, that definitely helps. If you're here and you're retired, you just need to qualify. You need to have the money to qualify, first of all. And then, like in my case, where I'm married and we have kids, well, first of all, if you're going to have kids, which was a progression for us because we both wanted kids, um, then basically, your expenses are going to go up, and sometimes they go way up. I've noticed that our food bill has gone up. Now Alex is playing guitar. He needs guitar lessons. It's something that he wants to do, and I want to be able to provide that for him. We want to be able to provide that for him. Nicholas has his own things going on, and they need money for school. They need money for this, money for that. So if you're retired and you're single, I think it's fairly easy as long as you got the money to qualify and you got enough money coming in every month, and enough being, say, 35, 40,000, at least free money. You may have more than that coming in, but you don't want to spend it, and that's the difference. If you have the money, let's say that to qualify you need 65,000 baht a month or 800,000 in the bank. If you have the 65,000 coming in, so let's say you have 70,000 a month coming in, you can get by on, say, 40,000, 35,000. Maybe you want to splurge a little bit. And then you have all that money left over, you can just sock away, or you just keep it and roll it over, whatever. But let me just go over some of the expenses for most people. There's usually rent, in some cases a house payment, that's rare, or like condo fees, maintenance fees on a condo. Food tends to be, it can be a big expense, or it can be, if you're single and you're eating on the street all the time, it can be relatively inexpensive. I mean, you could get by probably on 4,500 baht a month. It's 150 baht a day, assuming that maybe you're spending 40 or 50 baht per meal. That's 3 meals a day. That's not that expensive. However, most people get sick and tired of eating street food. And I'm one of those people. I've been here for a long time, and I've eaten just about everything at least once. My kids get tired of having the same thing all over, over and over again. So what we try to do is we try to mix it up. We get groceries, and then maybe one day we eat what we have at home, or 2 days we eat what we have at home, and then 1 or 2 days we go down the street and buy something from the vendors. But usually if you add in the drinks, like for me, if it's my wife, myself, my kids, well, there's like 200 baht for the food, maybe 160 baht, something like that. But just say 200 to make it easy, and then you got another, say, 50, 60, 80 baht for drinks. So you're talking close to 300 baht just for a meal for like a family of 4. But if you don't have a family, then you can eat on the streets, when you need to. If you're tight on money, you can eat on the streets. Or you can have groceries. Now, it really depends on what you have in your cupboard and what you buy. For us, for example, my kids have at least 1 or 2 kinds of cereals to choose from. Usually it's something like like a granola or muesli or cornflakes and maybe like a Cocoa Crunch or something like that. They have that to choose from, so we always got to have milk. We go through a lot of milk because, you got 2 people that are having cereal every morning. Sometimes I have cereal. Sometimes I'll eat across the street at the Quitio restaurant, at one of them. Let's see what else. So the food bill can be quite high, or it can be relatively inexpensive. But if you want to go out and eat like every day, I know guys who every day they eat breakfast at home. They go out for lunch. Sometimes they'll spend 100 baht. Sometimes they'll spend 300, 400 baht for a meal. They'll go to Fuji or something, and they'll have a big meal of sushi or whatever. And, they'll rack up like a 300-400 baht bill. That's relatively easy to do. And if you do that, then your monthly expenses, your food bill is going to be higher. Especially if you're buying groceries like, my wife will go out and buy popcorn. And then I'll buy the milk and the bread and the eggs and the ground pork and chicken and whatever. Then I buy like beans and I buy like rice. And so we have all that stuff at home. So if we want to eat at home, we have it right there. We can just cook. And, my wife cooks sometimes. I cook sometimes. And sometimes it's not always convenient to go down the street and get some food. It might be pouring rain, The other thing is the electric bill. If you're living in a place and you're not using the electricity, my buddy's got a bill. It's like 500 baht a month. Then I got another buddy who pays about 8,000 baht a month. He's got his two air conditioners on all the time in a 3-bedroom apartment. It's just him and his girlfriend. And then ours ranges from 3,500 to all the way up to about 7,000 baht, but generally not that much. Generally about 4,000 for our electric bill. And in some places you don't need air conditioning. Well, in our house we need air conditioning. What else? Water. You need a water. There's a water bill every month, and ours is maybe 150 baht. And then you have like water to drink. And if you are more than one, if it's you and your girlfriend, you and your wife and your kids, you're going to have a higher water bill. And you can get that water bill down. You can go down to the little machines and fill up the bottles and stuff, which is what we do sometimes. We keep a tank full of water outside from that we pump in and that we catch. And then we have various bottles around the house. In the back of our house, we have bottles that we drink from and bottles that if we need, we can use for whatever. Whether it's from the toilet, or for washing dishes or whatever. But that adds a little bit to the bill. And then you got mobile phone. Well, now we got 4 people in our family with mobile phones. Okay, we don't spend much for our kids' mobile phone. They just need a little bit of money on their phone so that if they need to call, they can call. And then my wife has a business phone and a personal phone. I have a phone, which that can run up, it's a couple thousand baht maybe, depending on how much you talk or what kind of plan you have. I think between me and my wife, we might spend 2,000 baht a month, 2,500 baht a month for our mobile phone. Then there's transportation. Not everybody lives by the SkyTrain. Not everybody lives, they don't always live, somewhere where they can get public transportation. And so, it's something to think about because transportation can be quite a bit. In my case, I really, when I go somewhere, it's because there is a specific purpose. So let's say that I need to go down to the Emporium and I need to buy a couple of things from there. Well, what I try to do is say, okay, is there anything else that I need that I can buy from there so that I consolidate the trip, and then maybe I spend 250 baht to go and come back. And it helps save a little bit on the transportation costs. My wife is always traveling, but she gets a little bit of money from her job that covers that. She gets a little bit in expenses. Let's see. Then you got things like medical insurance, medical care, dental care. If you got to be doing visa runs, well, you got the visa deal. Then you got, what if you need clothes? What if you need something else? Listen, one expense of mine is camera equipment and gear. That's always something to consider if you're like a photo enthusiast. Or, like I said, now Alex is playing guitar. We had to buy the guitar. Now he's got guitar lessons, okay? So you may have the same thing. You're going to go to the gym. Guess what? Depending on the gym, it might be 1,000. It might be 2,000 baht a month. It really depends. So for me, the way that I look at it is, listen, if you don't have $1,000 a month, without fail, I don't think that I would consider moving here. It's just not enough. Anything less is really not enough. But it depends on your situation. It really depends. If you own your house, if you have no bills aside from food and utilities, and it depends on your lifestyle. So I'm not saying that you can't get by on less than that, but I would say that you need at least 1,000 bucks minimum, preferably closer to 2 grand. And the more you got here, the higher quality that you have, the more westernized lifestyle you live, and that's another key, whether you want to live like a Thai or live like a, somebody back at home. However, it really depends on what you consider to be a Western lifestyle. We have a townhouse here now. It's getting older. It's not really up to either of our standards. We kind of like want to move out of here, but we're biding our time because it's inexpensive, and we want to stash as much as we can so that when we move, we're ready for it. And we want to buy a place. We don't really want to buy a condo. And, there's all kinds of little factors. So it really depends. It's a personal, it really depends on your personal preferences and what you accept and what you won't accept. And anyway, so that's really all I got to say about it. That's all I got. So until next time, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. Click like, click share, leave a comment, whatever. Until next time, choke the lat jerken mind.